Thank you, Stuart. Wanted to present the lay of the land in terms of the types of elementary schools we have in the board. We have 51 single-track English schools, which are exclusively teaching English programming. We have 22 dual-track schools with grade 1 FI. And then we have 7 dual-track schools without grade 1 FI. And these are the middle schools that offer that program. And then we have 6 single-track French immersion schools in the board. 5 of those are in Oakville, and 1 is kind of progressing in Burlington. So in total, we have 86. In terms of Halton Hills, we have 9 single-track French immersion schools, single-track English schools, 2 dual-track with grade 1 FI, and 2 dual-track without grade 1 FI, the middle schools, and we don't have any single-track FI schools. But one of the issues that has been mentioned is the growth of the French immersion program in the board. The French immersion program at the elementary panel since 2006 has grown by 107%, from about 5,300 students to 11,000 students over the last 9 years. That's a total increase of 5,700 students. And this will continue to grow in future as a result of ongoing growth both in Oakville, Milton, and coming in the next few years in Halton Hills with the Vision Georgetown development. More specifically, Halton Hills, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with development and just very quiet development in Halton Hills, specifically Georgetown, due to servicing issues. There has been an increase in FI enrollment at the elementary panel, and it only has grown, relatively speaking, 21%, from about 632 students to 765 students. That's the Halton Hills information. But again, overall, as a board, we have grown exponentially. As Director Miller had mentioned, one of the issues that we wanted to talk about is this senior kindergarten to grade 1 French immersion uptake. This chart kind of looks at what's happened in the board since 2006. And typically from a single track English school, 21% of the SK students have chosen to enter into French immersion. And it has increased overall on the board to about 27%. In Halton Hills, it's about 13% in 2006, and it's increased just slightly by about 14%. So the preponderance in Halton Hills is that those students in single-track English school tend to remain in that single-track English school. Dual-track schools, on the other hand, have increased by 10% in the board over the last number of years. And that kind of relays the fact that there is a choice in a dual-track school when a student is entering SK, going into grade 1, and they have an option of either entering the English program, the French immersion program. What we're seeing initially is 50%, so 50-50 in terms of where students are choosing. Now we're seeing that uptake that there's only 61% of the students are now choosing French immersion in our dual-track schools. So overall, we've seen a total uptake in French immersion to about 37% for both single-track English schools and dual-track schools in the board. And and in terms of Halton Hills, the uptake is overall increased by from 21% in 2006 to about 24%. Again, not a significant increase. The board has had a wide range of uptakes in terms of French immersion. We have schools that there's 0% uptake from SK to grade 1. That's Brant Hills in Burlington. And the highest in the region is Tom Thompson, where 82% of the senior kindergarten class is entering into the French immersion program. In Halton Hills, our lowest school is about 52% uptake, and that's George Kennedy. And the highest is Robert Little at 70%. Wanted to focus on the number of dual-track schools in the region. We have 22 with grade 1 French immersion programs. In those schools, in total, 42% are English students, 54% are French immersion students, and 4% are other students. Those other students are typically in the gifted program. So you can see the skewing of those dual track schools towards the French immersion. In Halton Hills, there's a greater skew. 27% are English students in the dual track program, and 73% are in French immersion. Again, we only have 2 dual track schools in Halton Hills, so not a large amount of schools to take from, but again, it kind of gives you some sense. And again, one of the other issues is, as mentioned by the director, is that once you start getting at these uneven splits, you have some inequities in terms of enrollment. And in those 22 schools, 13 of those schools have less than 40% enrollment in the English program, and only 3 greater than 60%. And then the opposite happens in the French program. We have 4 that have less than 40% enrollment, but we have 12 where more than 60% of the enrollment is in French immersion. In Halton Hills, we have 2 in the English program that has less than 40%, and of course in the French program we have 2 that have more than 60% of these schools' enrollment. So as you can see, the number of schools that have single track, 12 of the 22 dual track schools in the board have grade 1, less than 15 students in the grade 1 English program. And that is a cause for concern as outlined by the director. And that's one of the reasons why we were here tonight and why the PVC was constituted, is trying to look at the issues at hand and moving forward with that. So I'll turn it over back to the director. But I just want to point out that these PowerPoint presentations, as well as the videos tonight, are on the board website. So you can refer any of your neighbors or friends or other parents who couldn't make it this evening to the board website in order to take in this presentation.